Alright, we are back to do another sparring breakdown video. This time I'm sparring with one of my students, Adrian. Adrian's been training for a couple of years, just moved out to Bali from New York. See Adrian come out and pull guard right away, trying to hit a quick sweep. Starts trying to transition. And I just look to move on the outside and pass. Right away I'm crowding Adrian's hips, just trying to slow him down a little bit, make it hard for him to hip escape. I'm really trying to cut that space off so he can't get that close guard recovered. I switch my hand position to block his hip. Again, making it hard for him to escape his guard. Adrian doing a good thing, kind of switching sides. But again, kind of same situation. I'm controlling that bottom leg, making it hard for him to get his guard back. Just kind of working on some pinning with him. Again, staying top heavy here, I move into the mount. Adrian doing a good job recovering. Again, I'm just staying heavy on his hips, so I move back into side control. Adrian doing a good job framing, and again, I'm just kind of going like heavy with my top pressure here, trying to look for a wrist lock. Again, just trying to kind of take some of that steam out of his frames, and I managed to pick up the wrist lock there early on. So let's kind of look at what I did there. So you see Adrian grabbing my collar. So anytime someone grabs my collar like this and starts pushing their forearm into my neck, this is a green light for me to look for a wrist lock. So what I'm going to do, essentially, is when this happens, I want to make sure that I can bring my chin over his wrist. If I can trap his wrist with my chin and bend his hand and break that straight line that he's kind of creating with his forearm and his wrist, I know I can attack the wrist lock. So if we could just kind of look at this continue, you'll see me start to bring that left hand over, and now you can see me with my head really driving over the wrist. I'm really just trying to drive my head here close to my shoulder so I can trap that hand more and more. I'm really trying to close that space off there. And I get control of his elbow to kind of backstop the wrist, and that's what allowed me to get the wrist lock. So again, really simple wrist lock. It's something I've used for a long time, especially anytime someone's grabbing my collar, pushing it into my throat. It's a real easy submission you can set up there. So again, trying to get Adrian a little bit more comfortable with his stand-up. His stance is really wide. He tends to have a really lead leg forward a little bit too far out. So kind of set up for this easy foot sweep. And again, I start moving into my passing. I'm just turning his legs away, staying heavy here, controlling the hips. For me, I always really focus on pinning the hips first as I'm moving into side control. Again, I step over here, collect his elbow, moving into Kesakatame, just making it hard for him to get that close guard back. Trying to get him to overextend his arms so I can start kind of crushing those frames. Again, Adrian pushing again, kind of leaving himself in that same situation. You see me going for that wrist lock again, but he learned his lesson. So he moves his hand this time. So now I gotta move to something else. So from this position, it's easy for me to mount as well. So I'm trying to create some space so I can move into the mount. I opt for north-south. Again, still blocking Adrian's hip here. Being really mindful. I move into the mount. For the mount, I start looking for a mounted triangle. And just kind of crowding space here, getting that arm across. I let Adrian out so we can kind of keep the transitions alive. I start moving on his back. From here I go to a crotch lock, start trying to lift and enter the truck. I let go of my hook a little too early, so I had to abandon ship and go back to side control. That was a nice little transition. We could break some of that down. So let's go back a little bit more. So from the mounted triangle, so I had the mounted triangle. He's asking me about what he needs to do to get out. I let him bridge. So I end up rotating the opposite direction, and this is what gave me that opportunity to start looking to take the back. So I have my bottom hook in, and you can see me lacing this leg. So if I can effectively lace my bottom leg in, So you gotta imagine my legs coming out here, and here's my bottom hook, right? And if I can lace my foot on top of his calf, now I can lock my hands together on that far waist, and that's what's gonna allow me to enter the truck position. So my left leg's pushing back, and I start pulling Adrian back here. So I still need to get my hook inside. Oh no, my hook's okay. If I'm going to critique my own technique here, things that I could have done a little bit better is I needed to make sure that I could hook my foot on Adrian's calf over here. So right now my foot, you can kind of see, is up here. I didn't manage to keep that hook in place well enough. I got good control on the hips still, and I got a hold of this foot, so I got basically the left side of his body dominated, but I didn't quite get my right hook, which is what I'm going to need to maintain the position. So I imagine this is what's going to allow Adrian to move his hips, and I'm going to lose the position in that moment. So yeah, you see me reach, but now I lost it. So I didn't manage to get the bottom leg in. I need this bottom leg as a hook inside his leg. And because it's free, I know I need to move. So I missed my opportunity to move into the twister back take. So instead, I need to move the top position. So I know from here, it's very easy for me to turn my hips and raise my level. If you notice right away, I'm posting my hand, pushing into the ground so I can raise my level up. And I'm going to try to bring this knee underneath his hips. If I can do those two things, I know I can win top position. So as we continue here, you see me moving to the top. And now I'm in a position again where I can start looking to take the back or attack the arm closest to me. So again, just staying heavy in side control here, giving Adrian some chance to work. Start to pin heavy on the chest, finish with a paper cutter choke. Hard to see by setup in this angle, cameraman was on the wrong side, but I think you guys get the idea. Again, nice scrambles from Adrian. He's doing a good job. So yeah, I'm going to let him work his passing a little bit. Passing is something I'm trying to work on with Adrian more. Working on his stance a bit more. I need him a bit better about establishing grips. So you can kind of see I managed to get all my grips and feet in the right place to play my guard while he's still trying to establish his grips. Adrian driving in, kind of dropped into a triangle setup here. Adrian's kind of circling into the triangle, and I managed to switch into an armbar. So Adrian was actually doing the right thing initially. He was circling the right way. I really like to tell my guys to bring their elbows and knees together. I want to close off this space if I want to escape the triangle. And if you watch Adrian, he's doing that initially. And this is actually keeping him safe. So I start to make this adjustment, and then as soon as I underhook that leg, I was able to change the angle and go to the armbar. So let's go back a little bit further one more time. So here's the level change. This is where he falls into the triangle. So if you look at him initially, he's doing the right thing. He's circling in the right direction. We just need to get that right knee on the chest, and he would have been able to block my triangle attempt. It's this mistake of him circling back towards my right. As soon as he decides he's going to change directions, and he does this as I start to pass the arm across the center line, this is what put him in danger for the armbar. So he still had a chance to kind of escape the triangle at this point, but the second he made that choice to go the other way, watch my hand. As soon as that hand goes underneath, he's basically going to circle back in the direction I want him to go. And this is what's allowing me to hit that triangle arm lock. So it was a good job on his part. He started circling the right way, which is a little mistake there at the end. And that's not uncommon for people. They feel like they get a bunch of resistance in one direction, so they stop going that way and try the other. It's all part of learning Jiu-Jitsu. But yeah, in that case, I always prefer to circle in the direction where I'm giving up omoplata opposed for the armbar when it comes to triangle. I just think it's a safer approach. Again, Adrian coming in looking to pass. Ends up putting himself in omoplata. And I hit a quick little sweep here and move the top position. I still have Adrian arm wrap. So because I have this arm trapped, it's going to give me some options for some other shoulder locks. And I finish with monoplata. So you guys go back a little bit more. So from here, you can see that I have Adrian's arm trapped, so like my leg's underneath, and I have his elbow tight to my hip here. And you can see me grabbing. And one of the things I'm going to look to do is internally rotate his shoulder as much as I can. I want to take that slack out of that arm. And then a couple different ways I can finish monoplata here. I think I was worried about 3/4 mount, so I passed the shin in front. And this is going to help me kind of move into the position. And it's interesting here. So anytime you go for monoplata, there's one of two ways they can respond. They can either respond with their thumb up or thumb down. So I think Adrian, aware monoplata was coming, rotated his thumb up. So if you look, you can see his thumb right here, right? So thumb up is the right idea when it's like kimura, or if he's trying to like straighten his arm out to avoid the internal rotation of the shoulder. But in this case, for monoplata, when you do this, it puts you in an armbar position. So as we transition here, it's the armbar that I'm catching him with. So he did a good job. It's really hard to escape that position. Not a lot of ways out once you kind of enter that gambit of armbar monoplata. So he's doing well. We see Adrian go back on his passing. I give him a little bit of space to work some attacks. He starts moving into S mount. See Adrian looking to attack my collar, isolate an arm. See him attack. I'm not quite sure what he's looking for here. I can't see. Again, Adrian looking on a key lock here, but his elbow's out of positioning. I'm trying to give him some more opportunity to play top. And we see Adrian working for that underhook. He lets the underhook go. And now he's playing a high mount, again trying to isolate that arm. Again, some nice transitions here. You see Adrian looking for the key lock, but he doesn't quite have the angle for it. So he's still making some beginner mistakes with this key lock setup, not quite isolating the arm the way we would like to. But this is all part of the learning curve. Again, I'm just kind of staying tight to Adrian here, making him move those hips. Especially in my guys' first couple of years, hip movement's really important for them to understand, so I make them do a lot of work from escaping bottom position, getting those hips moving right. Start turning my hips, trying to bring that arm away from his body, looking to mount. Again, here I'm just staying low. I reach underneath for near side collar grip. Here we go. And we managed to get a nice little paper cutter choke here. And you can kind of see I set this up a little while ago. You can see Adrian. A lot of the time what makes me allow me to do this move is I like to go real heavy with my hips so guys start framing on this hip. The second that frame comes into place, what it does is it gives me the green light to reach underneath the collar here and start looking for that 4-finger grip on the collar. Once I get this grip, I know I got him. So Adrian doing the right thing by checking my hips, it gives him space to breathe and feel like he's in the right position. But now that I have that grip, it's really easy for me to bring my thumb in, drop my elbow, let's move this, draw my elbow, and start to smear that elbow up. This is a big detail I like to teach my students, is driving the elbow up towards the head. A lot of guys drop their elbow to the mat, but they don't get the angle, the extra pressure by driving the elbow up. It'll help expose the throat more. And by doing this, we get a nice tight choke. So yeah, I think that's it for this video. If you guys have questions or comments about any of the techniques that you saw in the video, feel free to leave it in the comments. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.